As of the release of this review, Tekken 7 was finally released yesterday. Hopefully this game kicks tons of ass and goes down as one of the greatest games of all time. Don't worry though, I have a special review planned for that game. For now, back to your regularly scheduled review of Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Cue the montage. Tekken 6 was a decent entry into the series, but I was left wanting more. Along came the announcement of Tekken Tag Tournament 2, a sequel to the original Tag Tournament back in 2000. What got me hyped was the return of many iconic characters that haven't been seen in nearly a decade. It was set to have the largest roster in a Tekken game with over 50 characters, with more being added through free patches. Seeing characters like Jun Kazama coming back, my original main back in the Tekken 2 days, I couldn't have been more excited. Plus add in Snoop Dogg for the marketing and you had me sold. Plus 50 Blades of Grey and I can finally resolve our differences and work together as a team, right? Well, unfortunately I wasn't able to grab him this time, but you can go through the arcade mode together with pair play mode. More on that later. After playing Tekken 6 before this review, the graphics have went through a noticeable improvement. The character models look sharper, the environments have much greater detail to them, and certain stages feature special effects to them like dirt, rain, and mud covering up the fighters. Sure, some of the animations have been reused, but the game looks smoother overall. And yes, a special shout out to my boy Snoop Dogg and his stage. Would never think to see Snoop Dogg in a Tekken game, but here he is. He looks pretty fly, and his stage and the music for his stage is pretty good. Snoop spitting bars in Tekken is always what I needed. With 2-on-2 fighting being the defining feature, much of the fighting mechanics have been tweaked. New mechanics such as tag juggles, tag bounds, and tag grapples were added. If done right, you can pull off some crazy combos and juggles that'll leave your opponent devastated. But not all of the fights are 2-on-2 battles. One-on-one battles can be done as well as 2-on-1 battles. Because of the way the game is balanced, it isn't unheard of to win against a team without having a partner. Many of the returning classic characters such as Jun Kazama and Angel feature an updated design that is faithful to their classic iterations, as well as an updated moveset. Not only is it nostalgic seeing them kick ass once again, but seeing their transition to the next gen was awesome. Unfortunately, some just come off as clones of current characters rather than their own. Stages are much more complex than before. Not only do they feature wall breaks and floor breaks, but balcony transitions have been added as well. This can be used to continue juggles further and adds another layer of strategic depth. Obviously, the game is complex, but almost too complex. Not only will the new mechanics overwhelm many players, but the juggling game is too damn strong. One mistake and you can be juggled to infinity. I didn't like how fighters took forever to fall down in 6, but now that the time has been extended and bounds are much stronger than before, it's ridiculous. Plus, each fighter has hundreds of moves that they can perform. Even beginner characters like Elisa and Lily can be a bit intimidating trying to find the best combos and using the right moves in the right situation. While this isn't necessarily a problem for me learning the game as well as veterans, it becomes tough trying to find friends locally to play with without them being overwhelmed and frustrated. Not being able to move with the left analog stick is another weird change that people will need to get used to. This alienates many casual fans, which is what I believe what made this game fall below expectations commercially. Thankfully, there is somewhat of a tutorial mode called Fight Lab. Playing as combat, you are pitted in 5 stages, each focusing on a different mechanic. It starts with the basics of movement and eventually covers tag mechanics mentioned previously. While I do appreciate the mode as a way for people to get accustomed to the game, it feels more like a challenge mode than a legit tutorial mode. So not only will you be more familiar with the fighting as you go through Fight Lab, but you can customize combat to your liking with a set of moves that can be unlocked. This is the closest we get to a character creator. While a full-fledged one would have been nice, I can appreciate the customization here. Speaking about the customization, it has made its return with a few updates. You can finally change the color of your clothing instead of having to buy the same shirt twice. Plus, money comes quicker with each fight, and certain fights award you with new clothing options, so you'll be here a lot. Some of the items you can buy can now be used in battle. Stuff like bows, daggers, swords, pistols, assault rifles, and even pies can be used during battle. You almost will never get the chance to use them though, since they take forever to use, and considering how fast paced Tekken is, this is more of a novelty than anything meaningful. Outside of Fight Lab and customization, There isn't really any standout mode for offline play. Most of your time will be spent in Ghost mode for costumes and Arcade mode for the ending. Instead of one overpowered rooster for the final boss, you have 4 bosses to beat. It starts out with the team of Heihachi and Jinpachi, then to True Ogre, then to Jun Kazama, who you beat and turns into Unknown, finally crediting the fan theory that Jun is unknown. All the fights are nice challenges and are good skill checks for newbies to go through. Thankfully, the endings are actually memorable compared to Tekken 6. Even the funny ones got a chuckle out of me, and some mix up the badassery of Tekken with its comedy to great effect. Overall, Tekken 2 is another solid entry into the series, and that's it. Some hardcore players see it as the pinnacle of Tekken and the next great Tekken title. I wanted to believe that, but once again, it didn't live up to my absurd expectations. Maybe it was the overabundance of juggling, the difficult learning curve to newbies, the lack of any memorable extras, or just my own fault for being too hyped. After reviewing this game, I took a hard look at my expectations for Tekken 7. I might be expecting a bit too much now. I'm pretty sure it'll be a good game, all Tekkens are, except for the first one, but that's besides the point. But I can't expect it to be a masterpiece. Maybe it's from all the nostalgic memories I have with Tekken 2 and 3 from the PS1, and it just set up some unrealistic expectations that'll never be met. I'm going into Tekken 7 cautiously optimistic, knowing it'll be good, but managing my expectations for me to enjoy for what it is without comparing it to previous titles. Thank you guys for watching. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. My review of Tekken 7 will be coming soon. It's going to take me some time. I got a special guest coming in, and it's going to be freaking awesome. Thank you for watching as always, and this is Pow3rh0use signing off.